This is a two-part feature-length upload. Part 1. A brief tour of INTREXON, the synthetic biotechnology giant at the heart of the Zika abnormalities scandal. Part 2. A video from a group called APHIS claiming to be responsible for the enforcement of biotechnology rules and safety regulations.
J-Squad.
Agriculture's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, or APHIS, regulates biotechnology. Biotechnology is regulated by 3 federal agencies in the United States: APHIS, the Food and Drug Administration, and the Environmental Protection Agency. While APHIS's role is to make sure that biotech products are safe for agriculture and the environment, the FDA focuses on food and feed safety, and the EPA focuses on pesticide use. APHIS uses its authority under the Plant Protection Act to regulate certain genetically engineered organisms, including plants. This authority allows us to place requirements on the field testing, importation, and interstate movement of certain GE organisms to protect American agriculture from the risk of damage from plant pests. APHIS regulates certain genetically modified organisms if they could be a plant pest. A plant pest could cause damage if it's released into the environment, so we regulate a GE organism until the science shows that it will not harm plants or the environment. Until we know that a GE organism does not pose a pest risk to U.S. agriculture or the environment, we have to make sure that steps are taken by developers, growers, and others to contain it. This is why APHIS regulates GE organisms that are field tested outdoors, imported, and moved interstate. APHIS does not regulate greenhouse or laboratory work, which is already contained. Before GE field trials can be planted, or GE organisms moved across state lines or imported, APHIS must review safety information and authorize the activity. APHIS regulates GE organisms using either a notification or permitting process. A notification is essentially a streamlined permit for GE organisms that pose a lower plant pest risk. A permit, on the other hand, is generally more restrictive than a notification and is issued for GE organisms that could pose a greater plant pest risk. In considering notification and permit requests, APHIS reviews scientific information and requires confinement measures to ensure GE crops and organisms are safely field tested and moved. For example, we require minimum distances between GE fields and non-GE fields and have requirements to ensure that no GE material remains after a field trial is completed. To ensure that GE plants remain confined, APHIS verifies compliance with the conditions required in permits and notifications by inspecting fields, equipment, and other facilities. A biotech developer can request permission to remove a GE organism from APHIS regulation. For example, they may request deregulation if they want to commercialize and grow it without restrictions. In order to do this, the developer must show that the organism does not pose a plant pest risk. APHIS will then complete a plant pest risk assessment and an environmental impact assessment. We also provide the public with opportunities to review and comment on the request and APHIS's scientific assessments before a final decision is made. If we determine that a GE organism will not harm agriculture or the environment, APHIS will no longer require that it be grown and moved under our biotech regulations, and it can be planted and moved without restrictions. APHIS tries to strike a balance between ensuring a strong regulatory system while fostering innovative research and development that could help feed and clothe the world. To do this, we strive for an efficient and predictable regulatory process that still uses high-quality, thorough scientific reviews to protect against any potential plant pest risks posed by GE organisms. For more information about APHIS's regulation of biotechnology, please visit our Biotechnology website or contact APHIS Legislative and Public Affairs.